Dave Gorman.
Hello. Hello, thanks for that. That's nice. So I was just doing an interview backstage, and this journalist said to me, she got things out of all proportion. She said, Dave, has fame changed you? And I thought, I'll put her right. I said, it was quite a good film, but I'm not wearing leg warmers. I've done nothing but interviews since I got here, and every interview seems to go the same way. They always say, so what did you do before you got into comedy? I say, I was a student. They say, what did you get your degree in? I say, I didn't get a degree, I dropped out. And they say, oh, really? What happened? I was doing a maths degree. Don't hate me. We were doing these lectures about perfect numbers, and I'll just explain that very briefly. A perfect number is a number that is equal to the sum of its divisors. Okay, now that sounds a bit complicated, but I'll give you an example. 6 is a perfect number because it can only be divided neatly by the numbers 1, 2, and 3, and if you add 1, 2, and 3 up, you get 6. You see, now that's explained it, but it might make it sound a bit too simple. So I'll give you another example. 28, 1, 2, 4, 7, and 14 adds up to 28, you see. They're very rare. They're discovered by Pythagoras 6 centuries before Christ. Roman numerals, no computers. He's doing a bloody good job, right? He's found 6, he's found 28. They're looking around for more perfect numbers. They can't find them anywhere. Other mathematicians for centuries and centuries, they're all looking. By the Middle Ages, they give up. They think it's probably just 6 and 28, we'll leave it at that. And they try to apply some deep religious significance to it because God took 6 days to make the Earth, and the Earth takes 28 days to turn. That turns out to be a load of rubbish because the third perfect number is 486, and that proves cock all. Now, most numbers are not perfect, clearly. Most numbers are either excessive or defective. And I'll just explain that very briefly. A number is defective if the sum of its divisors is less than the number itself, and it's excessive if the sum of the divisors is more than the number itself. So, for example, say 10, that's defective. 1, 2, and 5 adds up to 8, that's less than 10. 12, ooh, that's excessive. Yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, 16 more than 12, you see. That's what most numbers are. But Pythagoras, quite a clever bloke, he also discovered friendly numbers, and I'll just explain that very briefly. Now, friendly numbers, they're a bit like perfect numbers, except they bring a friend with them. There's a pair, you see. And what it is, the sum of the divisors of the first one adds up to the second one, and that one's divisors adds up to the first one, you see. So, for example, 220 and 284, they're friendly numbers, right? So, obviously, the divisors of 284, that's 1, 2, 4, 71, 142, adds up to 220. And the divisors of 220, 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 11, 20, 22, 44, 55, and 110, adds up to 284. You don't need me to tell you that, right? Now, Clearly, you understand 220 by itself, that's excessive. 284 by itself, that's defective. Together, they're friendly. You see, that's how that works. Now, later on, many centuries later, people came up with the idea of sociable numbers, and I'll just explain that very briefly. So now, sociable numbers, they're a bit like friendly numbers, except they bring more friends with them. They're in a loop, 3 or more, you see, and the first one's divisors add up to the second one, that one's divisors add up to that one, that one to that one. The last one in the loop, that one's divisors add up to the first number. Now, you can get a 3-number loop, but you're looking at starting with ever so big numbers, 2 billion or so. Ooh, we don't want to go there, not tonight, okay? But you can get bigger loops of smaller numbers. The biggest loop anyone's found so far is a 28-number loop beginning with 14,316. Right. Anyway. We're doing these lectures, perfect numbers, excessive, defective, friendly, sociable, all that. Lecture finishes, lecturer picks up his briefcase, says, right, I'll see you all Monday morning. Off he goes. I stand up, turn to the rest of the group and say, right, anyone fancy coming down the pub for a pint? And they all went, nah, sod off. And that's why I dropped out. And I'll tell you what, it's really nice having a bit of material that no one else can steal. Enjoy the rest of the evening. I'll tell you, backstage, I've never been so in awe of the amount of talent in one room. I feel girt by talent. I really do. Enjoy the evening, enjoy the festival. My name's Dave Gorman. Thanks very much. Good night.